Over the wall we were going.
Read ID. He is worthy. Take the gene. Spermatosa, quick. Freeze him. Have him killed. He'll be worth. I looked down the centre of the glass of the telescope between the turret's walls, west pavement, and the bridge, the ship's bridge. Smiling, waving, I saw her, her legs hunched up, her arms clasped around them, her knees settled against her breasts as she sat in the swimming costume, her long, fair hair tantalising the breeze and streaming around her bare shoulders. She mouthed a word. I could see her as if a figure on the prow. I could make it out. She mouthed it again. It was a round motion of her lips, and she held a fingertip to her lips as if to whistle in the breeze to me and entice me and drag me towards her, to drag the ship towards these rocks that I knew were there, this Lorelei. She H. Rider Haggard's she. There I saw the surf. I looked back to Mary, her. I, she said. Me? I laughed, of course. I watched her in her one-piece swimming costume, looking graceful. It was the grace that attracted me, and that was the beauty. Yes, that was what she mouthed. Me? That was it. Yes, the ship had battered against the rocks and the surf crashed over it. I was breathing fast now, holding on to the wheel for dear life, and the ship, it zoomed down, around. Yes, the jet, it up again, and there I saw the ditch coming up. Crash! Shattered. Windscreen smashed. Teeth went right through it, smashed all the side, and I lost blood all over the guns. I felt them rush out. Tidal wave as I looked up had gathered me up and almost reached her where she now stood. Her mouth was open, and I could see the red lipstick. She laughed, almost mocking me. I thought she walked up and she stood over me as I lay in this ditch, and the surf went in and out and swept back out to the sea. The sea. The galaxy. She walked forward and stood on my fingers, my hand, looked down at me, and I looked up, right up through her, as if I could see right up her throat. Yes, I stood up, or tried to, and then fell down and gripped the pits of her stomach as I slid down, and felt as if I scratched my nails on her and pulled out the hair. I was trying to grab onto her and get the DNA. She looked like a beautiful singer. I felt I could hear music, high-pitched soprano, harp music, so entered into it, and an orchestra quietly, softly played as I looked up from the sand and opened the skies and sought the entrance. And died. I could hear it from where I stood. Presently I felt I'd awoken, and in a low, hollow, it was like a sound in which I was moving along, a sort of a tapestry of notes and musical notes and sounds that turned all around and beckoned me on, as if, like 1 minute a light soprano and then a baritone and an echo, and made its way all around the western area that looked remarkably like West Sussex. I was struck by the fact that her voice, for it sang this witch's brew, this voice, I followed. It contrasted as much with this area, for she was picturesque, and I followed her, for now I saw her. Her one-piece bathing costume, she moved along, and I watched the cupped areas below her. I have to say it bluntly, her bottom, the curves. I was an artist by nature, a painter, and artistically I saw the curves, and they were so beautiful, the feminine. They raised all my nerves to fever pitches. I staggered on, and I grabbed out to her, outstretching my hand, and I looked back, and I saw the jet. It was etched into the terrain. The nose was etched into the surface of the atmosphere, as if it was a cross sticking out, and it was stuck. The nose was stuck in the ground like a horrible scar, a scab, as if when I blinked twice and looked in this atmosphere again, half blind, it formed invisible lines, a triangle and a cross, and as I thought of the pilot lying on the crucified was I, and I looked around again at the Lorelei and saw she faced me this time, and the triangle, the breast curves, the neck, the beautiful neck, grey swan-like neck, long fair hair dangled down her, around her shoulders, and lovely blushing cheeks, for she blushed now and looked forward, and I saw that she was beckoning, indicating me that I stand before the pillar, this picture of the heads of the Madonna, and they turned on a statue from side to side, slowly round, and I heard a click, click, took a picture of my face, of my soul, of me, and in a fantasy area of my mind I could swear she took out the photograph of my soul from the picture of the Madonna behind it, as if a camera were there, and it was a scroll. A photo of me was like a graceful, perfectly rounded scroll, and she scrolled it up and put it in a bottle and corked it and put it and said, "I'll uncork it. The wine bottles when you are ready, and prove you have." Voice trailed off. It had connected and ignited a seismic circuit, an atmosphere, a nuclear explosion of those proportions in my mind, in my body, and I saw this atmosphere blue. She was so beautiful, beauty itself, that my whole sinews, my body was absolutely wrenched and wrought to a point where I felt asphyxiated, asphyxiated, as if I had to get out of my body, and my voice, its timbre, started to split up, and I felt as if I was in the cockpit again, and my head was banging from side to side, and I was being shot down again. The timbre of my voice was, and the boom! The jet crashed. Oh, there it is. There were shot sounds. And I belly landed in this ditch. got out. Stuck. It's connected to a pool, but the apparatus, the opening was shut, and that was at the time when I saw her, and I'd seen her. I saw her then, and it connected a circuit that was underground from a spring, from a pool, from the bottle of... That was my imagination. I was seeing this connection, and it was as if it was connected to this bottle that held my soul. It was on trial. My soul was being kept as a forensic piece of evidence and going to be placed in the witness box on a cushion in the chair, and it was electric. I was on trial in heaven and hell. The strip in which I had crashed, and she had held a finger to her lip. It was the... For whom the bell tolls, the dial, the compass. It was... I remember seeing on the switchboard before I crashed as a pilot in the jet. All the instruments, they went all wrong, awry. And I entered this atmosphere, and everything went stuck, and the canopy, the cockpit exploded, but I went off the screen, the radar. And there they were. Audrey, Lady Diana, Evelyn Liv. The inquiry into my behaviour was being set up. There was the rabbits, the animals, the horses, the cows, the hens, the chickens in their coops. All these animals were and they were free, and they stood behind a board, and then they sat down. Can you believe? Yes, and the gavel, bang, bang, bang. Judge, silence in court. And I went in as this beautiful woman. My God, she shed her bathing costume in front of me. She was naked now. She turned and she crooked her finger, and she actually smiled and beckoned me in. And I followed her. I raced after her I grabbed her at her back, her beautiful back, and her blonde hair fell down, and she turned around, and she was... the devil herself! Remember? Silence in court. Mr. Rabbit, are you prepared? Are you ready? A rabbit nibbled a piece of lettuce and looked forward and grinned and laughed and said, we're ready for him, sir. Yes, Your Honour. Don't call me sir, said the judge. We've resurrected the old, so-called old ways again, and I'm, Your Honour, or my lord. Thank you, my lord. Much better than sir, please. That plain expression. Is that Mr. Rabbit? I did, Judge. Yes, I did 24 years of law, and to be called sir is pretty plain. I expect my lord. Very well, my lord. Carry on. Lead him in. I'm innocent, my lord. Judge, I'm innocent under the laws of Freeland. It's not Freeland anymore. It's been changed. We're back to and gone forward to the old order has been resurrected, and together with new changes and things we have learned, been inducted to call the New World Order, the proper order of differentiated tribes and areas that make up the Union and all. And this is the Western European British sector, and Irish section, and Scotland, Scottish, and... Anyway, go on, get on with the trial. Mr. Cow, are you ready? Oh, yes, I'm ready. Yes, bring him in, this bastard. Mr. Horsey. Yes, I'm ready. Okay, line them all up, chickens, everybody, jury, that's it, bang, 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 bring him in. I'm innocent, my lord, I'm innocent, my lord, I didn't do anything. I have... Do you have the measurements? What? Yeah. Do you have the? The jury went berserk and everything went and it's up. And in came the bailiffs and blacked out. I woke up in reception. A lawyer stood before me. I said to him, "You've got to represent me. I want habeas corpus. I've got to get out of here. This is a nightmare, this place. It's insane. It's arrogance gone mad, and I'm going crazy myself. I've got to get out. I was just flying my plane over. I entered this belt, this strange... All the instruments got stuck, crashed, and the next thing I'm following this maiden and on trial, and she turns into the devil, Lucifer herself. Beautiful, but... hell on earth. I followed her still. Well, that may be very well, of course, old boy. Yes, okay, but the relevant point, the pertinent point, the only point that counts is, have you got the measurements? I beg your pardon? Do you have the measurements? I beg your pardon, what's my private... how dare you insult me saying something like that to me? Well, God, I'm facing a trial of my life. For all I know, I could be dead, and you're saying to me, you want me to reveal my measurements to you, to take it out and measure it. Is that what you... And how, you're saying that's an exhibit. It's relevant to the issue in the court case, the prosecution, the charge which I face. Listen, old boy, if you insist on being arrogant and carrying on the way you are as if you were, an exemplary pupil from a private school, then you can be excommunicated and executed the way you are. I won't bother to defend you, but if you bow to my experience and intelligence, let me tell you that the record book here says, the Constitution, the state of prior freeland says, any person who doesn't have the measurements is guilty of treason. Any person who does have the measurement is guilty of murder. So it's catch 23 or 2 or whatever we're up to now. And no matter what you are, you're guilty and you'll be sentenced. What? You'll be sentenced to be... one of these categories. They're provided in the Act that's been made pursuant to the Constitution, which was empowered by the... Oh, don't let me go on. There's been a million like you through these cells. You'll be placed in a category, and depending on the degree of your measurements and your dimensions, they'll take them physically, and exhibits and photographs will be placed up for the court to see. The jury will... Mr. Rabbit, the foreman, he'll convict, and you'll be sentenced to... Gravedigger, that's a category. Yes, you can tick there, you can tick it now, you can sort it all out now, plead guilty and just be processed through, and then it's all over and it's finished, and that's you. I? That's not me, I? Well, hold on, you've got another choice here. You can be a state lawyer or a state doctor. Beg your pardon? What about private practice? What about my potential? What about the reason I was placed on this earth for? My father told me, and my mother. I was placed here to realise my potential, search out my individual gift, bring it to fruition, refine it like an oil refinery, and use it for the people, my gifts. All that's rot now. You're about to be placed in freeland, a misnomer if ever I heard it. It's hell, and you will be categorised. If you want to, a state lawyer means you've got no power. Your whole life basically is sitting behind a desk. Just tick, 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 tick. Tick off boxes. Yes, monetary boxes, really. Make sure you get the targets up, and then you'll be continued in your job as... you'll just be placed in this area around here in a box at a desk, and if you tick, 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 long enough, you can make a court appearance, but you'll be programmed and you'll be told what to do. We've got a parroted course. The parrots, look, they're sitting on the jury. They're getting revenge too, and this is how they'll take it out of you. Because of this, what you do what you've done in this previous ancestral line, which you, God-forsaken, you refuse to apply the serum. You spell it S-E-R-E-M when it's S-Y. R-U-M. Why? That's the line, the key. Will you face it and credit and balance the balance books of ye? That's lapsed into Old English now, have we? Well, state doctor, it'd be that too. Tick, 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 tick. Yep, managed guidelines. Each morning come roaring out, and you can look at the map there. It's a map of, then you go over there, you go over there. It's the manager will stand there and he'll tell you what to do. Manager? He's not qualified. What are you talking about? Well, no, he's got a business administration degree. Of course, $750,000 a year. Well, there's an American sector here now, yes. Superimposed and grafted on England. It was called England, but shut up! Not supposed to say that anymore. That's blasphemy. God, dare mention that name again. That bloody name. It was crucified on a cross, an English cross. It's over. Right? Please, this is hell you've entered into now because of your deeds, your misdeeds previously. You've got it now? That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? This is what the managerial system is. It's in the courts as well. It's court ink. Manager tells you what to do, where to go, tells the judges also where to go, what section, what territory. They go over here, they administer here. But you see, the whole idea is to roll the cases on, roll them on, adjournment, adjournment, adjournment. You see, yes, and if you play the game and go on, because it creates the income, for God's sake, don't you see? And that's where you get the marks, the tick, tick, ticks, and the targets, and up you go. A promotion, you, a doctor, a state lawyer, a gravedigger even, you might be promoted to a manager yourself. And then you'll have all the material gains of the world, and then you get the privilege of turning around one day, glass of wine in your hand if you drink, or beer if you're that way inclined, and then you'll see it's worthless. And that's when we read your ID and see if you're worthy to contribute your sperm to... See? He raised a finger at this point, and I saw she. There she was again. The most beautiful woman in the kingdom, standing there in her one-piece swimming costume, in the open entrance. She mouthed a word. She made a motion, a movement with her finger, directed me in the entrance. There, the pool connected with the apparatus. The piston went up and down, and the slamming in the factory as they made. And she lay before me, up and down, and I kissed her. I leant forward over her lovely face and kissed her, held the sides of the strands of her hair back as I looked at the sweat on her forehead glistening, and she opened her eyes. She had been dead before in soul, and she opened her eyes and they smiled, and she was the most beautiful of soul. And she said, "Look into my eyes." And I kissed her as the palm of my hand went down, and like a sculptor it moved all over her belly and solar plexus that was so round, and up between her thighs, until I realized she was pregnant. And thine, I Where's her husband?